hot panda action going on.
Oh, something on you there. On your arm. Other side.
Nice.
Mhm.
Nice.
That's cool.
That's cool. All right. Welcome back, everybody.
Oh, hey, pregame time.
Hey. We are back. Everything's late. Nobody dies. Episode number 76.
Lucky 76.
I feel it in my bones.
Oh, my God.
I feel it.
I can feel your bones from here. We're sitting too close.
Yeah.
Speaking of horror.
Horror. How's the week been?
Week's been fun. It's been a good week, actually.
Nice.
Yeah. Sales going on. We are, oh my God, there's so much stuff going out. Again, still.
Yeah.
You can see, bought another huge collection from somebody.
Yeah. A lot of DC.
Yeah, a lot of DC.
A lot of small box of cool indie.
Yeah. Bunch of Walking Dead stuff, like all the death metal and Dark Knights, all that stuff.
Nice.
Dark Days, Dark Nights, Dark Knights, all the darks. There's some Walking Dead.
You know, the early Damian Wayne Batman stuff.
Yeah. Yep. There's 666 that came into it. God, what else? All the Doomsday Clocks.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. I might need those. Like I've got.
Well, you know we're having a sale.
I've got some of them.
You know we're having a sale.
I know. I've got a full whole box right now.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's
why you press those things so quick.
That's why I got through your book so fast. How's it going, Marvin? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Now, I did hear you're going to be with Mr. Marvin Wynn.
I am.
When is that?
Sunday.
6.
It'll be 6 o'clock our time.
All right. Time. Marvin, toss that up there. What time you put that out, and we will make sure to spread the word, get as many eyes on that as possible.
Yeah,
for sure. So, and he just has a podcast chats with comic shop owners, right?
Yeah.
John? Yeah, I have not seen that. I didn't know, Marvin, that you had a podcast. I'll have to go back and watch the rewinds on those.
Come on, man.
So Beck was saying you were going to get rid of this.
Oh yeah.
Can I just dump this and take the box?
Absolutely.
Right? Okay.
Yep.
And that's how they roll with Black Cat Comics.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to keep their trash,
you have to throw away the trash. And
you have to do the work, but then it's yours.
Have the free box.
Right
on. No, it's
brand new podcast. Yeah. 1 episode so far. Right on.
Also, Alex is doing a podcast, Lettermeyer.
Oh, okay.
It's a YouTube show. And we'll put that up. We'll find that and put it up there.
Yeah.
He messaged me about it, and I haven't had a chance to watch it yet because I've been slightly busy. But it's been a fun week.
Yeah. I popped in yesterday because I wanted to make sure I got myself some of the back issues.
It was crazy.
Before it was all gone. Not that anybody else is looking for old Flash Gordon books, but
you'd be surprised. Seriously, and there's another guy. There's a guy that comes in here that looks for Flash Gordon, Phantom, Dick Tracy, Shadow, like all the old pulp stuff. He loves that stuff.
The Phantom stuff is cool. Any of that Defenders of the Earth stuff, Flash Gordon, Phantom, the Panther.
Yeah,
that's cool stuff. I really dig that stuff.
It's it's fun. It's just adventure pulp, nice,
Yeah. Which kind of ties into last week's subject, the pre-code horror. A lot of that pulp magazines, they were made for
loving you, baby, and you were made for loving them.
When I was doing kind of the pre-game for that show, one of the podcasters, I can't remember who it was.
You got drunk before the show?
Yeah. He was talking about how all of that art is. He was talking about the art in those pre-code books and how they were done on newsprint because the intent was to throw it away.
Oh, yeah. There's all garbage.
Yeah, it was all supposed to be garbage. It's like reading the newspaper. You read it and you throw it in the garbage. Well, that means that art was disposable.
Yeah.
So if you have any of that, anything pre-code, whether it's superhero or horror or whatever it is, the intent was never to have it around for as long as it has been. So I thought that was a pretty interesting.
That's and
thing to think
that's
about.
part of it's partially why that old EC stuff is so damn hard to find. But besides that, the other thing that happened with it though is like in 30s, early 40s and stuff, they had the paper drives, the wartime paper drives. So I mean, then what was more disposable than newspapers or comic books or magazines? Nothing. They brought them all there.
Yeah.
And they drove that paper right to Germany. And we won. They drove all the paper there and they put up barricades, and the Germans couldn't get around the barricades.
Just one more way comics defeated fascism.
That is right. So that is a history lesson for all you kids out there.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
back when we were just boys,
we threw up a poll in our Utah group.
That must have hurt.
Yeah, throwing up the poll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't recommend it. But they said that they wanted to hear us discuss postcode horror and where we've come since the code.
All right.
Which I think is real interesting. I've been going through a lot of old Vampirella books, like the magazine size.
Yeah.
Creepy
Eerie
collection, my Eerie
Yeah.
collection,
Yeah.
the 1776 stuff. That I know that's more sci-fi, but and that stuff was very transitional and of its time. So early mid 70s.
Yeah.
And for anybody that took Greg's advice and watched the film Snuff,
I warned everybody. I warned you. I told you, you play that back. Do not watch that with Kat. What happens? I get a damn message from Kat. What kind of shit do you make me watch?
It's like, I want my hour and 22 minutes back.
Well, it's not going to happen. How do you think I felt after I watched Aquaman 2? Exactly the same.
But yeah, a lot of, and I think that a lot of those early, or those 70 pulp mags, the horror stuff, is very reflective of where horror cinema was at the time.
Oh,
as
definitely.
well.
Yeah. It was, exploitation, and they were doing it as cheap as possible, as quick as possible, as much, nudity and sleaze and violence as they can possibly get away with, and just, throwing it out there, man. And that's what a lot of the comics were doing too.
Right.
Especially when you look at, like that, like the underground stuff, like San Francisco Comics and Kitchen Sink, and and they were having fun when they were doing it, but it was sleazy. So much of it was so incredibly sleazy, man. Yeah. And I don't think it's a coincidence that that's when, things like Hustler Humor, they actually did magazines.
Right.
Of their cartoons from the men's magazine that I
Gentlemen.
I didn't even read that for the articles because the articles were no good. I was looking at nudity with that, but Playboy was reading the articles. But yeah, it was like just that underground sleazy, whatever. And then they were putting them out in the magazine size, I guess, prehistoric trade paperback, right?
Right.
And collecting that stuff. I'd get those in every now and again, actually. But it was kind of, I think in the 70s, when people realized they didn't have to stick to comic size and comic code. And then also, we started having, in the 70s, we started having home video stuff.
Right.
So mid to late 70s really didn't hit hard until the 80s. But that was kind of a Wild West thing there, too. When you like, holy shit, I can publish my own comics. Yeah, we don't have to go through a Comics Code Authority. I can put stuff in magazines and do whatever I want. I don't have to go through the MPAA and put a movie out in the theaters. I can put it on video, and throw that out there. Like it was kind of Wild West with horror and, trash cinema.
Right. And it was really funny because we kind of had a little discussion about this yesterday when I was in, but you had mentioned the new, let me try to grab the right book here. The new, and this is a brand new book, right?
Yeah, it came out yesterday.
Cruel Universe?
I keep calling it Cruel World.
From EC Comics.
Yes.
And you were saying that you're really enjoying DC books.
I am loving them. They are so good, man. They've got, it's got that. I don't think this would have happened if it weren't for Creepshow.
Right.
But Oni is actually publishing these.
Okay.
They are mature reader books. They've got whatever content you want in there. There's some gross stuff. There's some gore, but it's all very reminiscent of the old EC stuff because they all do have those Twilight Zone twist endings and, stuff like that in them. But they are, God, they're so much fun.
Well, one thing that you had said, and this is what got me thinking is, so you had mentioned that you read a story in this that wrapped up in like 3 pages.
2 pages.
2 pages.
It was a 2-page story.
So a 2-page story, which was very common of the pre-code horror type stuff.
Yeah. They had to jam as much in there as they could.
And when they had to go, when they switched over to the comic code, that pretty much killed off horror books at the time. Nobody was putting them out. And then when they started getting back into it.
If they were, they had to be drastically changed.
Right.
Drastically.
Because
the Marvel stuff got very safe.
Right.
There were certain words you couldn't use.
Well, and it wasn't horror at that point either, because we had the Wolfman, Werewolf by Night.
Werewolf, because you couldn't say Wolf Man.
Right.
Because that would, you would start sympathizing with the monster, because it's a man. So you had to say werewolf.
Right. So you had Werewolf by Night, you had Dracula and Swamp Thing and all the monster creatures.
But Dracula, they never called a vampire.
But they were all anti-heroes at that point. So they were really good guys. There's like the Monsters book. I can't remember what it was.
And there's like the Mummy that was in Supernatural Tales.
Right.
Man Thing, which I think if you got a comics code and you're worried about saying bad words, Man Thing is probably right up there at the top of things you shouldn't say, but whatever, But yeah, that was that and the Swamp Thing and the thing and the thing and the thing
right.
and all the other things. And they had all that stuff coming out, but it was very different. It was adjusted for what they could do.
Right. But it turned into more long format stuff.
Yeah.
So they could tell stories, so they could build characters, so they could put a background in there.
They were not anthologies anymore.
Yeah. So we went from, 4 or 5 stories in, Tales from the Crypt to one story in Vampirella or Werewolf by Night or Moon Knight or whatever the creature of the day is. I found that really interesting. And that, of course, morphed into other long format stories like Midnight Western Theater that came out recently, and whole series like Something's Killing the Children.
Yeah.
And
which we just got all the early ones in.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go check that out.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple that I need.
Yeah.
For sure. But I find it interesting that they're kind of turning back to the anthologies again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they kind of are. It never really died, but you really had to look for them.
Right.
Now, like, you find them. You just walk in and there they are. Again, and this 2-page story in this issue was probably one of the best stories I've read in it. It was just so freaking cool. And it actually, a lot of time you'll have the twist endings and how they're going to end.
Right.
You got a pretty good idea. I didn't even think that. It didn't even occur to me how this would end. So the last panel was like, oh God, okay, that's cool. But yeah, it's very Creepshow. Epitaphs from the Abyss is the other one that they're doing. They're going to do a couple more because I think they're very successful. But yeah, man, bringing that, I was dubious when I heard. I was like, really? You gonna bring back EC? I don't know if that's wise. But they did, and it's been awesome.
I wonder how much of that has to do with what is the name of that? There's a company out there that's taking all of those old comics that are in public domain.
Oh yeah,
and kind of rewriting the word bubbles and stuff.
Yeah,
the name escapes me at the moment.
God, it was it Craig Yo Comics that was doing the reprints of the public domain stuff,
right?
And then Sham Comics.
Oh, Sham Comics. Yeet is the one I was thinking of.
Okay.
because Yeet is doing it as well.
Yeah. But I mean, even like Chris Hoffman, our own Chris Hoffman, they did a bunch of that stuff, which I wrote one for. And where the hell is it, Chris?
What's up, Bueller?
Hey, man.
Bueller hanging out.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just about to start talking about Howard Chaykin. No, it's really cool that they're doing this again, because that is, when you start thinking about, well, what everything's been done, man, what can you do? Well, go back to the tried and true, but do different stuff with it, which is what this is.
And I really dig the modern horror stuff. Big fan of Cult of Dracula. I think that's a great story. Even like the thriller type stuff. Man, I just drew a blank on the name of that stupid book. Stray Dogs. To me, like, people don't think about it, but that is a great horror suspense story.
No, it is. It is. And it's, Stray Dogs is, I almost feel like if this was 30 years ago, that would have been something that Stephen King would write.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. There's not enough connected universe for him now, but, but yeah, that could definitely be a Stephen King story.
Right.
It's like, and it's like that, In a Violent Nature, that movie I was telling you about, which is essentially, it almost feels like if A24 made Friday the 13th, because it's from Jason's point of view, except his name's Johnny to avoid a lawsuit. and Cujo, yeah, there you go. But yeah, this is like such a different thing. It's like, okay, well, it's a serial killer story from the point of view of the dogs. It's like, how's that going to work? But then it worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was great. Farrell's has been good so far.
So far, it's been really good.
I hope that we don't run out of ideas.
and that's a tough one, because a lot of that zombie type, running from the zombies, and they're not the real enemy type thing. Been played out with The Walking Dead, of course.
It has. I feel like The Walking Dead has ruined a lot of people's great ideas for comics.
Yeah.
For horror comics,
which it was a great idea. Walking Dead was a fantastic run. And I think he was smart to end it when he did and move on. For sure.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, modern stuff. What have you been reading that you enjoyed?
I really do like Tony stuff. I like Farrell, and I like the Stray Dogs and stuff that he did on Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
I did a great job with that stuff as well.
Yeah. That's coming to a close. They're doing 13 issues.
Yeah. I don't really care for a lot of like the Marvel zombies and the DC vampires and that kind of stuff. I think that's a little mainstream, little remedial for me. Not that there's really anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
Chainsaw Dogs. I think you're onto something there. Chainsaw Dogs.
Yes, there you go. Where's the face of a cat?
Ice Cream Man.
Ice Cream Man's amazing.
Prince has done just a brilliant job with that book.
That is, it's not so good I'm crying. I was just choking and almost dying. So, but it is so good that I could cry. That is literally one of my favorite books right now.
Yeah.
That may go down in the top 5 of my favorite books ever.
Yeah. And it's funny because that is a kind of one of those long form. It's all contained in one book.
Yeah.
But that's the only story in that book.
Yeah.
And
they connect.
Yeah.
Just barely. There's a whisper of connectivity
right.
in all of them. again, you'll be reading one and it'll say, oh yeah, it'll have one of the background characters go, or something, a character from a different issue.
Right.
Or you'll say, you'll see a situation. But that, I think one of the most brilliant, like, stories, I guess, it was only 2 issues, was that Ice Cream Man, the decompression.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the smartest comics I've ever read. And they're putting that into like a single issue, just collecting those 2.
Really?
Yeah.
So, I can see that.
I feel, and that goes back to the trade paperbacks, like we were talking about, what they used to be. As they would collect a couple just in one big issue. And he's doing that.
Yeah, I think that story, I mean, that's definitely, in my opinion, Eisner Award level writing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you have not read it, if you're watching this, you've not read it, it's the last 2 issues of Ice Cream Man.
Mm-hmm.
So they should still be available. I'm sure you probably have them on the shelf here still.
Yeah, I do. They're so damn good.
Yeah, it's just fantastic writing. But those have been really good. And I like there was a lot of stuff coming out in that kind of pandemic boom that ended up going by the wayside when we crashed. But Silver Coin, I thought was really well done.
Oh, that was really good. I don't think we're going to see it again.
Yeah, I think that was really well done.
Yeah, that was a great book. So good.
And what was that other one? Last House on the Lake, or
Nice House on the Lake.
Nice House on the Lake.
I just finished that. Nice House by the Lake, I guess. But
yeah,
I just finished that.
Issue 31 of Ice Cream Man is my favorite.
What was that? What was issue 31?
About the father and daughter role. Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that was so.
That
good.
was good.
That was
really
so
good. He's got a great knack for storytelling.
That was the first issue I ever had my daughter read.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, yeah, read this, man. And she's like, what? She read it. She's like, oh my God, that's great. That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Geez, it's just fun. It's fun. It's kind of disturbing. It's kind of, it makes you think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just great stuff.
And it's funny to me because have you read the Ha stuff?
I haven't read that yet.
It was like 6 issues.
Yeah.
All about clowns.
Yeah.
And it was a lot more psychological and internal than what he does in Ice Cream Man.
Yeah.
And I thought those were brilliant, but it took him, like, he went through the 6 issues and pretty much completely told.
Oh, there is a dog
all those
there.
stories.
I was like, that guy's got the tiniest feet I've ever heard in my life. Just like, oh no, I want to pet. No, I can't. Service dog. I cannot pet service dog. Okay. Oh my God. Anyway, I lost track. Dog.
Yeah.
Where is? I don't even know what we're talking about. Dog. There's dog. There is dog. There is dog.
But I do. It is funny. And then you had mentioned Creepshow just a minute ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Would you say that Creepshow's the one that got this whole thing started off again?
If not the comic, maybe the TV show.
Oh, I forgot that they did that.
Yeah, and because that started like pre-pandemic,
right?
If I remember right, I think it did.
Yeah.
That had some Joe Hill stuff in it. That had some Stephen King stories that they had adapted. And then right after that, they did the Joe Hill DC stuff. Basketball Heads and Plunge and all that stuff, Dollhouse. And they were almost long form Creepshow episodes, really, because they were 6 issues maybe.
Right.
But I think that was so successful that Shudder was probably like, well, hey man, let's get this thing into a comic book. So I'm wondering if maybe the TV show kicked a lot of that off. Because, it showed people like the old Tales from the Crypt series, on HBO. That's when you started seeing more horror comics again.
Right.
You'd see a lot of that. The like Bruce Jones was doing stuff with the Pacific, or I can't remember who it was, but there were a lot of kind of more underground horror stuff coming out at that point, Eclipse and stuff like that. Epic, Marvel's imprint that did all the Clive Barker stuff for a while.
Yeah.
So you would see a lot of that stuff come out, and it's funny because it's like when horror movies and TV shows are big, all of a sudden horror comics are big again. It's cyclical, which is funny because for a while Walking Dead was not big. Then the TV show came out, then everybody was doing horror comics. Still, it's just the opposite. But I wouldn't be surprised if that kicked this anthology format back into gear.
I wonder how much of it also had to do with Ice Cream Man.
Yeah,
because there was a lot of success with Basket Full of Heads and Something's Killing the Children and Department of Truth and on, all these books that were telling, 12 issue arcs.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until Ice Cream Man came along where you were really getting just self-contained stories.
No, and that is true. And and I like that because if somebody comes in and they're like, what's some good horror stuff, what's some good whatever, you don't have to find Ice Cream Man number 1,
right?
You say, here's number 26, here's number 14, here's the special they did, here's issue 30.
Well, and it's almost expected now. I've talked to people about Ice Cream Man, and they're like, where do I start?
Doesn't matter.
Like, just go grab a book.
They're
like, well, how will I know what happened? I'm like, well, it has nothing to do.
You don't need to.
You don't need to know what happened in the last issue to enjoy this book.
And that's same thing with Creepshow.
Yeah,
you just grab it and read it. And if you like it, start hunting down the other ones because eventually we'll get them.
Yeah,
eventually everything walks through the door.
Yeah.
And it can walk out the door and right into your house because we're having a sale, and that sale is 50% off back issues and graphic novels all month. Thanks, kids. There we go.
Yeah.
A little advertisement.
Yeah. Speaking of horror stuff, I came in and got all my reading copies of Doug Wagner's collective works yesterday.
Oh yeah,
for half off.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
and that's that's another thing, and I love Doug has he's a good writer anyway. His horror stuff is just it's unique and it's very cool.
Yeah,
and that's something you don't get a lot. You don't get. Hard Place, that was really good, but it was it was a heist thing. It was whatever, right? And it was really good. But his horror stuff is just where he shines, man.
Yeah,
he's so good. He's got a love for that, and he's a sick, twisted, disturbing, horrible individual. No, he's a great guy though.
Grabbing random issues is my favorite way to do it. I think we're still talking about comics here.
I think so.
That was Evan, so I'm pretty sure we are.
No, I got a lot of random issues. We don't have time. No, we do not have time.
I got volume at this point.
Well, get in here and get some random issues then, because oh my god, I've got here at about 9:30 today, and I've been pricing stuff until you walked in the door.
And there's a lot more to go.
Oh, shut up!
It's like everything in these boxes are good.
Oh yeah, there's no garbage on it.
You didn't get any garbage at all.
No.
That's crazy.
No, it's just good stuff.
Yeah. All right, so we got Creepshow. We got the new stuff from EC. What else is out there?
Oh man, what else is out there? I
mean, do we have Halloween issues from the big three? Oh
god, we've got so much stuff. The new Marvel Zombies series, I'm actually not going to read. I was going to touch on that. I'm not reading the new Marvel Zombies. I'm not reading the new DC Vampires. The DC versus Vampires was great.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
And then the second one, I was like, I'm not sure, but I'm going to give it a shot. That was fun. Now it is just too much now.
Right. Right.
Marvel Zombies, the Black, White, and Blood, most of it was really fun. I'm not sure if that format lends itself to Marvel Zombies or not. It looks a little plain.
It does.
It does. And not to put down anybody's work on it or anything, and I mean, it just looks, Marvel Zombies, you feel like it should be like crazier, colorful, action packed, whatever. And I don't know if it completely comes across with just the color red.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I would like it if they grayscaled it.
Yeah.
If they made it kind of Walking Dead-ish, that I would have liked a lot more. That being said, though, is the one that Doug did, I thought was great. The one that Erica Schultz did, I thought was great.
Yeah.
There's some really good stories in it.
There's some good.
But it's a little uneven.
I mean, and it's really funny because we're talking about the anthology format and something like this and how that's working.
And then they did these books were great,
and it didn't. Like, and I think that is, you can't take a Doug Wagner or Erica Schultz and put them on 3 pages. You just can't do it.
No. I mean, they could easily, they're talented enough, they could easily write a 3-page, 5-page, 6-page story.
Yeah.
But their storytelling style lends itself to a longer story.
Right.
And it's almost a disservice just to say, here, you're a great writer. Here's 5 pages. Go do something cool so we can put your name on it and sell it.
Yeah.
It's kind of, yeah. Yeah, so that, I don't think that totally works. And, I don't think any of the Black, White, and Red, or Black, White, and Blood, and Black, White, and Green, and the Black, White, and Blue, and I don't know, whatever they're going to do next, right? And I'm not sure any of them really work.
I think they do it a lot to showcase the artist.
Yeah.
And comic books, a good comic book is, I mean, as good as, and I hate to keep going back to Doug because I don't like the guy, but as good as Doug is of a writer, like Hilliard does some beautiful work in those books.
Oh, yeah.
Tim Odlin does an amazing job in Beware Eye of Odin.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Like, so it's not, comic books are not a format in any genre that you can get by with just an artist or just a good writer. You need a combination.
And those, those were the 90s days a lot.
Yeah.
You had no story and bombastic art, or you had art that was trying to be edgy and you had good writing with bad art, and it's, I don't know, they would just put out anything in the 90s though, because it would sell. And they didn't care. They're just like, put it out. Man. Who's this guy Brigade? Is he Cable? No, not really. Okay, who cares? Put it out.
Yeah, and it was who drew it?
Yeah,
we're going to sell the artist, not the book.
Right. Yeah, and that and I think those days, for the most part, are gone. And I like that they are. I like that that's done.
Right.
Now you've got now you have writing and artist teams like Doug and Daniel,
right.
And Tynion doing the Nice House on the Lake, and now Nice House by the Sea, which is the same universe, but I haven't started Nice House by the Sea yet.
Yeah.
I just finished Nice House by the Lake, or on the lake, or on Last House on the Lake. Last left on the house with the bayou.
Yeah.
No, the nest at sea.
I'm waiting for Next House on the Bayou.
Nice House on the Bayou. The boat flies by you when it goes on the bayou. It's just so. It was so good, man, and and that ending. It's rare that this happens, but the ending of issue 12 of Lake, I'm going to call it Lake and Sea.
There you go.
The ending of Lake could be the end of that world. Could be the end of the series. Could be whatever. Who cares, man?
Right.
And Sea, I don't know if it's concurrent. I don't know if it's before. I don't know if it's after. I don't know anything about it yet, and that's by design. I don't want to. I don't want to know stuff until I read it. But I'm excited to, now that I finished the other one, because I want to see where it fits in, how it fits in. And that's a great ending to me. If you don't need to do more, but you still can, and it works. And I think Tynion is so good at that.
Yeah.
You can tell when he gets a little overworked, it's not quite as strong as it always is. But it's always quality. It's always good.
Yeah.
It's always good. It's not necessarily always great or amazing, but it's always good or real good.
Well, and all of his stuff is pretty solid. I mean, Department of Truth
Yeah.
has been extremely solid.
Yeah. It's
all
a
the
good
way
book.
through.
Really good book. And I don't want to, when I get attached to these guys' work, I don't want to see them stretched too thin, And
Right.
that is my only worry with some of this stuff. Going back to Erica Schultz, when she, when I read that first Daredevil, One Without Fear, I was like, God, this is so good. And all the stuff that she has done. And it's really, really good and really, really solid. And you can tell that she cares about what she is writing, and she's not going to let it go through until it meets her standards. They're giving her so much stuff right now, though, that so far it hasn't happened, but I'm hoping it doesn't drop.
Right.
I don't think it will, but I mean, what a nice problem to have. I'm getting so much work.
But yeah, I mean,
but
the flip side of that, and it's a problem that's always been around with the industry, is these guys got to take the work when they can get it.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow is not guaranteed.
Right. Yeah.
So
there may not be a Marvel Comics tomorrow.
Yeah. We've
like,
learned
honestly,
so often.
We're on the precipice of success or abject failure at any point in time.
Yeah.
And they need to get that work.
Yeah. So I was showing off. Of course, these are the Cult of Dracula metal covers from Hive Comics. Maria Key's work is just spectacular. This is probably my favorite.
That's a really pretty good.
That's probably my favorite piece. That
I'm glad Bueller's on there so we can tell you about the shine on there.
And then of course that's what issue is that? Number. I get them confused. 2 or 3.
Yeah, they're really cool. That's a great cover. I love that.
Yeah, I like this one.
I mean, how can you?
I like them both.
Actually, you're gonna have glare. Freaking covers metal, and of course you're gonna have.
Yeah, I've had a couple of people ask me when I'm going to get these slabbed. I'm like, man, you can't see that. Like a metal cover is just different underneath the slab.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even the foil covers look different on a slab.
Yeah, not that I slab any of my books anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, it is what it is. All right, so Snuff, man,
what garbage? What hot garbage, huh?
Wasn't
that amazing?
That was insane. Like, it was so boring at times, but you just can't turn away from it.
I know. Yeah,
like I don't even know. The hot pink blood was weird.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like all of it.
It's I liken it to watching a garbage truck going down the street and wondering if they're going to hit something because nothing's happening. There's a lot of trash, but this is the potential for something.
And like you could tell that it was kind of very loosely based on the Manson murders and all that.
Yeah, yeah. Which a lot of stuff back then was.
I don't think it was intended to be set in South America.
No, it was not. It wasn't. No, not at all, man. Not at all. That end scene where, spoilers for everybody, when the actress, the same actress gets killed. The same actress that gets killed, I swear to God.
I mean, they didn't even try. Not a wig.
She
nothing.
didn't look anything. That's like if we ended this podcast and there was an after credit scene, Beck came and sat down and said, "Hey, I'm Greg." That's about how convincing it would be. Okay.
Yeah.
She looked nothing like the other actor.
Yeah.
And they just put that on. They just nailed that on the end of it and just said, "Ooh, people are talking about Snuff."
Yeah.
Do you think we can just call it that now? And gee, I wonder why it failed when it first came out. It
Just
sucks.
insane. So I do
But it's
recommend.
amazing. But I have the special edition.
Unlike
Blu-ray, man.
Unlike Greg, I do recommend that if you're going to watch this film, watch it with your wife, your spouse, your husband, your
Small children.
significant other, It really wasn't like, as far as violence and nudity and stuff, it wasn't that bad. Which is funny because you look at the trailer and you're like, "Oh, what the hell?"
Oh yeah, God, it looks like it's going to be out of control.
Yeah,
yeah, but
mostly because it was filmed in South America, where life is cheap.
God, that's such a stupid tagline.
That's my new tagline. I use it for everything.
Oh, there you go.
Like we'll be like just driving down the street and somebody will cut me off, and I'll be like, "I'm gonna send you to South America where life is cheap," and Cat will just start rolling. She'll lose it.
Yeah, you like what I do when you're looking for that showcase and it said, "Try South America where books are cheap." God. Oh, it's such garbage, man. But I love it. I love it.
It was a fun one.
Yeah, but yeah, watch it with your wife or loved one, as long as that happens to be a bottle of booze.
That certainly won't
be careful.
Hurt.
Yeah.
So what's next?
I don't know, man. Give me another challenge. Do it. Come on.
Okay, so we've had this discussion multiple times, and to me, a horror movie has to have a supernatural element. Like, to me, Snuff is not a horror movie because it's just a bunch of mean people doing mean things to other people. But
yeah, I don't believe that.
I know you don't believe that, but yeah, you have to have something supernatural. Like, there's got to be a wolf man or a ghost or something.
Friday the 13th, a horror movie.
Friday the 13th, one. Let's see if I get this right, because I get them confused because I've only seen them all like one time, and that's it. And that was 40 years ago. But Friday the 13th, one would not be a horror movie to me.
It's a slasher movie.
Yeah, but it's not horror.
The slasher is
like there's nothing supernatural about it. But if you look at the retrofit on it, that he was possessed by demons or whatever. If you go to the Rob Zombie version,
no, that's Halloween.
Oh, that is Halloween.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Halloween and Friday the 13th.
Oh yeah. Well, at the end of Friday the 13th, though.
But it didn't happen. It was a dream.
What, him coming out of the lake? And, Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Don't you remember when the boy? Did you find the boy? Man, we didn't find any boy. And he's still out there. No, he's not. Because you can't be that tiny little kid that comes out of the lake, and then at the beginning of part 2, which is just a couple months later, have him be this big hulking dude with overalls, dressed like somebody out of Hee Haw with a sack over his head. But it doesn't work. I
don't know. I definitely think that there has to be something supernatural in order to be a horror movie.
I would agree.
Like Psycho's not a horror movie.
Oh god, yeah, it is. I would agree to disagree, except for the fact that I'm right and you're wrong. So it doesn't really matter at all. So whatever.
I get that more than you know. Like, that's not the first time I've heard that in my life.
Oh, I can imagine. Hey, Kat, you watching?
So let's go with something that to me would truly be horror. Something with a supernatural twist.
Okay. Something with it, like new, old, does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. Psycho 2. No. Let's see. Hang on. Oh boy. Yeah, you want more 70s trash?
All right.
Okay. Gates of Hell.
Gates of Hell.
Lucio Fulci.
All right.
Yeah. As long as Lucio Fulci was a pretty damn good director when it came to horror. He's like, he did Zombie, which is in Italy, the Dawn of the Dead follow-up, but not actually,
That's a good movie.
That was pretty good, actually. Yeah. I mean, some of the acting was really awful, but Mia Farrow's sister was in it, Tisa Farrow.
Oh yeah. All right.
Yeah, so you got that going on, and he was very famous for being first off, like, high violence. Everything has high violence in it with his movies and everything. But he was also insanely misogynist. So, all right. So the women don't get a fair shake in his movies, and it's a little it's a little disturbing because of that, you know. And when you realize that, like, oh, this guy probably didn't like women very much, you know. New York Ripper was like probably the most disgusting, misogynistic thing he's ever done. Man. But then again, it was hilarious because the killer talked like a duck. I'm not even kidding. I am not kidding. He would call up and he'd be like,
Okay, so
and it was terrible. Gates of Hell, though.
Gates of Hell.
It has got one of the most John Morgan is his American screen name, but it's Giovanni Radici, I believe.
Okay.
I'm a dork. I just realized that. But it has got one of the most realistic scenes of somebody getting killed that I've ever seen in my life, and it still holds up. This is early '80s, man, and it still holds up.
All right, I'll give it a try.
Yeah, it is. Again, it's more trash. You know, it's more 70s, 80s Euro trash that I love. But it's definitely got a supernatural element to it. No question.
All right.
So there you go.
Okay. So we did have it seemed to work out pretty well. They liked when I put the poll in the Facebook group.
Okay.
So we're gonna do that again and let you guys decide what we're gonna talk about next week, and I will get it up sooner this time, sometime in the next couple of days, so that we have a chance to let Greg know in case he wants to bring any of his cool books from the house.
Yep.
Anything along those
If I can
lines.
find them.
They're next to that chair that you fall asleep in every night.
Oh, okay, all right. No, that's called a bathtub. No, we're the renovating is still going on, but we're almost done. We're almost done. So now I'm actually able to find some things. So I haven't showered in a month. I've been bathing. Don't worry, it's but I haven't. We got a shower. We're gonna do shower. I'm like, oh yeah. So the simple things, the little things.
And the sale is going to be going on all month. Right? All month, half off back issues and trade paperbacks.
And I'd say there's a good 400 to 600 books that are going out every single day.
Cool. And slabs
too, man. As long as it's not consignment, right. Slabs and wall books count.
And he's got some pretty sweet slabs going on. I was telling somebody about it because he wanted the Momoko Spider-Man #1.
That's
I'm like, oh, is it gone already?
Yeah, somebody heard that.
I know there was a nice one. I'm not surprised that it's gone, especially at half price. So,
yes.
A lot of good stuff going on there. This weekend, tomorrow's Friday. So Saturday, at Veterans Memorial Park. If anybody wants to come down, you can bring the family down. The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention is doing the Out of Darkness Walk. And there's going to be vendors there. There's going to be a couple food trucks. World's best corn dogs are going to be there.
That's my favorite. It is.
I don't know if you've ever had world's best corn dogs.
Did you see my face when you said that? Of course I have.
They are the world's best corn dogs. Like it's not.
They were okay. They were having like something up at the church on the corner, by my house. Which church? Which corner? I know it is Utah.
That one,
the first church on the third corner.
Yeah.
But no, they had world's best corn dog over there. I actually stepped on hollow ground to get one. I let my feet burn to get a gun.
They are good.
Oh, they're so good. I bought like two of them. I just sat there. I was like, and I had to be careful how I ate them because I was in a church parking lot.
The first time I ever had them, like you put honey on it. Like,
oh my God, they're so good. They're so good. Man.
We're gonna have vendors there, stuff for the kids to do.
Great.
And so come on down and help us fight suicide. I'm still new to the suicide thing. We switched over from cancer.
Punch suicide right in the dinger.
Yeah.
Right in the giggles. So
you can show up for that. And then we do have FanX is coming up here at the end of the month. Wasatch is coming along.
Yep.
So a lot of stuff going on. And we will keep you informed about those as they come closer. We got something cool going on at FanX. A lot of local creators in the booth this year.
Right.
So that's super cool. I'm going to be hanging out with Doug Wagner all weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. Adrian Rope is going to be there as well.
Now he's good. He's a good guy.
He's a great guy. Yeah.
No.
I get a little.
We give a lot of crap to Doug. Doug's a fantastic guy.
He's as solid as a person could get.
Yeah.
But Adrian, like, he's the only one of the Utah crew that I get just a bit starstruck because he drew Pink Panther, and that's my jam.
Yeah.
I love the Pink Panther, so that's a big deal to me.
No, it's pretty great.
He's actually going to be in the gaming hall. He's going to come to the booth and sit for a minute, but
cool.
He's going to be in the gaming hall because he's done a lot of games.
Oh yeah,
tabletop stuff. So
yeah, he's done games and comics and animation and just all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, very talented. Really of course, Evan's going to be there. Evan Black.
He's pretty cool.
The Bleak Haven guys are going to be there.
Yeah. Nice.
A couple of other artists showing up. So it'll be a good time, and we'll give you more information about that when that time comes. In the meantime, if there's a subject you want us to talk about, if you have any questions for either of us, Greg, way too long time comic book shop owner, just leave it in a comment down below, and make sure you check out. Going to be on Marvin Wynn's show, as we said, this Sunday.
Yep.
Check out Marvin Wynn's show, and that's all I got. You got anything?
I got nothing. We're gonna have to reschedule a little bit next week, so maybe do it a day earlier or something. Okay. Yeah, because I'm gonna be in Vegas. All
right, Greg's going to Vegas, so send your money.
I got a gig.
Got a gig?
Yeah.
Got to pay the bills around this joint.
Yes, I'm on onlyoneFan.com, and I am the only subscriber.
All right, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Click the little bell notification so you'll be notified whenever we drop a new show. And we'll see you later, traders.
Ring the bell, and if you don't, you'll go to hell. So ring the bell and ring